When the moon is in the seventh house and Jupiter aligns with Mars, then please look at the planets and love will steer the stars.
This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius, age of Aquarius. Aquarius, Aquarius. Harmony and understanding, sympathy and trust abounding.
No more false adulterations, golden living dreams of vision.
Mystic crystal revelation.
And the mind to liberation.
Aquarius.
When the moon is in the seventh house and Jupiter aligns with Mars,
And peace will guide the planets, and love will steer the stars. This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius, age of Aquarius. Aquarius, 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 Aquarius.
welcome to our show. We're going to just get straight in and we'll talk afterwards, okay? Woo! On a clear day, rise and look around you.
How are we doing tonight, everybody?
And you'll see who you are.
On a clear day, how it will astound you that the glow of your being outshines every star.
You feel part of
share
You
button.
can hear from far and near a world you've never heard before.
And on the clear day,
On the clear day, you can see forever and evermore.
you feel part of every mountain, sea, and shore. You can hear from far and near a world you never felt before. And on a clear day, on the clear day, you can see forever and evermore.
Here we are. Hello, everyone. Yes. Hi. You're
Already out of breath.
It's only
Goodness
only
gracious.
500 songs to go, honey.
Hi, Arlene. Hello,
Hi.
hello. Thank you so much for being here, everybody. Hi, Darius.
Yeah, here we are. Technically,
Hi, Alec.
well, it's our second to last show now, isn't it, honey?
Before the baby makes
Before the
their
baby.
appearance.
We had
Thank you, Cheryl.
last night we had an American baby shower hosted by Heather's friends over the pond.
The
So that's why we've
decorations are
got
still up.
all these decorations up. We it's fair to say we forgot to take them down, but now we can all get excited about the baby coming.
Yeah, it's crazy, and we're 4 weeks away. Which is nuts.
Yeah, 4.5 to like what?
It's crazy.
We realised, wasn't it? A month tomorrow is our due date. A month tomorrow, honey.
No,
Yeah,
yeah.
month
Oh my
one.
gosh, yeah. That's great. That's crazy. No, I haven't packed the hospital bag yet, but we're planning on doing that tomorrow.
Yes, that's what this week is about. Like we're excited about doing our greatest hits thing next week, so we're gonna pack our stuff
Yeah.
and start getting our head in the game.
But back to the 60s.
Back to the 1960s.
That
part two.
song was from the show On a Clear Day, You Can See Forever in 1965. And it was written music by Burton Lane and lyrics by Alan J. Lerner.
Yes.
And there's not really that much to say about it except that it wasn't really a hit, but the song was. And they made it into a film with starring Barbra Streisand later
Yes.
on. She didn't sing the song in the film, but then she recorded it and, of course, it became a huge hit. That was what version was that, though? That was
A Matt Monro.
Oh, yeah.
There's a couple of Matt Monro versions in this because they're just so cool and
Yeah.
and also sound very 60s.
Uh-huh.
And obviously, the opening video today was from the musical Hair, which we'll talk about later on. But we just wanted to kickstart something a bit different to what we've normally done.
Yeah.
And just let everybody have a dance to begin with,
Yeah.
because you can't hear "Let the Sun Shine In" and
Without
not just join in and have a
smiling.
good. It's like the cool freedom pin peace anthem of the world.
Yeah.
I love it.
Also, we should say, before we go any further, push that share button if you haven't already.
Yeah.
And yeah, you want to go? What are we going to talk about next, my love?
Okay, so in 1965, there was a musical called Charlie Girl, with music and lyrics by David Henniker, who was the composer of Half a Sixpence, and he co-wrote that with John Taylor. It was quite popular over here. I believe Paul Nicholas was in the original cast as well.
Ooh.
And it ran for 2,202 performances.
That's a
And
lot.
I mean, considering the show doesn't get done at all, really. I mean, if anyone else has seen a recent production, I personally haven't, but like maybe it's problematic. I don't know. I need to look further into why that hasn't happened.
I don't know.
But this particular song, it's just a bit of a positive kick me up, and it's about my favorite thing in the world.
One of your audition songs too, right?
Yes, a very cut down version of it. So great. Now I've got to get it right. Thanks, honey. This is based on my favorite food. I hope. Come on, there we go. My Uncle Henry's got a shop down the high street with a marble and the counter and a big glass door. My Uncle Henry's very famous down the high street, so let me tell you what he's very famous for. He found one day his customers was getting thin. They'd pass his fish and chip shop, but they'd not go in. So Uncle stepped outside, threw back his head and cried in a voice as loud as sin. Oh, out of or cod or sprats or ache, filleted Dover sole, kippers or scampi, plaice or skate, mackerel by the shoal. I tell ya, everything's fresh and newly fried, hot to me fingertips. Oh, you'll never eat until you've tried old Henry's fish and chips. Oi!
Alan knows it.
Well, Uncle Henry soon attracted a crowd there, all sorts of funny people like you never saw. But when they heard me uncle shouting out aloud there, they came to see what all the blinking noise was for. From Acton Town to Hackney Wick and all around, they flocked to Uncle's like it was a football ground. A fish he didn't sell, but still they paid him well just to hear his great new sound. Oh, addle, cod or spats or ache, filleted Dover sole, kippers or scampi, plaice or skate, mackerel by the shoal. I tell ya, everything's fresh and newly fried, ought to be fingertips. Oh, you've never eaten until you've tried old Henry's fish and chips. Oi! Soon Uncle Henry was signing a contract for half a dozen records and TV and all. Not only that, but someone else had been in contact and offered him a concert at the Albert Hall. But Uncle wasn't bothered by his rise to fame. He kept his fish and chip shop going just the same. Though now he made his cash at half a crown a bash, singing out his old refrain. Oh, article, cod or sprats or ache, filleted Dover sole, kippers or scampi, plaice or skate, mackerel by the shoal. I tell you, everything's fresh and newly fried, ought to be fingertips. Oh, you've never eaten till you've tried old Henry's fish and chips. Oi!
So fun. I think it was.
I couldn't talk to you during it because you only get one
I know,
bar
I'm
turner.
so sorry.
Sorry,
I don't know the song very well, so I didn't know if you had any breaks. But Julie said what we were talking about. It sounds just like Flashbang Wallop.
Exactly, it is.
From our
it's
last
the same
60s show.
Same sort of thing.
Was it at Victoria Palace where Hamilton is now? I'm afraid I don't know the answer to that question.
I think it might have been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. That was great, babe. Now I'm craving fish and chips.
I was sort of saying to really.
Because
Every time I ask if we can get fish and chips, you're like, no, I don't want that. I don't want it.
Okay.
I want fish and chips. There you go.
There you go. Here's some information. Thank you,
It was
Carl.
revived with Paul Nicholas. Yeah, because actually, yeah, if it was in the 60s, Paul Nicholas would have been a wee little nipper.
Yeah, there we go.
So, there you go.
Anyway,
Thanks.
well done.
Right, thank you, honey. Do you want to talk about the next one?
Yes, the next show that we're talking about is Flora the Red Menace, the first collaboration between Candor and Ebb. Magical times, everybody. And it was also Liza Minnelli's Broadway debut. The show was originally written for Barbra Streisand, but she was busy. And so they found Liza. And it ended up being a huge coming out for her, making her mark. She won the Tony for the show when she was 19 years old. At the time, she was the youngest to ever win the Tony Award for Best Actor, male or female. That was usurped like the next year, but that's fine.
Still, it's quite a cool acclaim to have.
Yeah,
though, isn't
absolutely. And the show wasn't a hit. It lost all of its money, but the themes in Flora the Red Menace were very indicative of what was to come from Candor and Ebb at this time. So there are a couple songs that are pretty popular from this show. One of them is actually one of my very favorite songs called Sing Happy, which I'm not going to sing for you tonight. But this other song is a favorite for a lot of people. And it's, I think, just a gorgeous song about falling in love.
Oh, well, I like this already.
When it all comes true, just the way you planned, it's funny, but the bells don't ring. It's a quiet thing. When you hold the quiet thing. There are no exploding fireworks. Where's the roaring of the crowds? Maybe it's the strange new atmosphere way up here among the clouds. But I don't hear the drums. I don't hear the band. The sounds I'm told such moments bring. Happiness comes in on tiptoe. Well, what do you know? It's a quiet thing. A very quiet thing.
It's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah, isn't it a nice lyric?
And you can certainly hear the beginnings of their styles and the echoes of musically what they
Yeah.
do in years to come.
Yeah.
It's lovely, honey.
Thanks, love. Thank you.
Just
Oh, yeah, it does sound a little bit more like Curtains. You're right. It's more, I feel like, more melodic because it wasn't quite as much of a heavy dance show, I'm assuming. I don't really know, but I think it's a stronger melody than, like,
yes.
Chicago, for example.
Well, it felt like as with Cabaret, which we'll come to later on, and then Chicago,
Thanks,
they they found their niche of that sort of vaudevillian
Yes.
sound, but
Yes.
from a more political space, especially in like Scottsboro Boys later on, it was the same kind of like that juxtaposition between happy vaudeville performance versus the darkness of the stories and the sort of subject matter,
Yeah,
I guess, the political
absolutely.
subject matter.
Anyway, moving right along to 1966.
Exactly, like it feels like, because we kind of came out with a bang, right?
Yeah.
Like bish, bash, bosh. We got like some big numbers, and you've had a lovely little ballad there.
Uh-huh.
It's fair to say that 1966 was quite a big year
It was like
for the musical theatre
yeah, like how
industry.
1964 was, where there was like every single show
Yeah.
was ever written.
So like it might feel like, oh, we got through to 1966 quite quick. Well, yes, but now we're going to sit in 1966 for about 5 or 6 numbers, I think. So we're going to kick off with Sweet Charity. I mean, an incredible show, a great star vehicle for Gwen Verdon. Bob Fosse directed and choreographed, and it was obviously music by Cy Coleman. Fantastic. Like, I love Cy Coleman's stuff. Like City of Angels
Yeah.
is incredible. This is just like iconic. And lyrics were by Dorothy Fields.
And if you guys remember from our Ladies Who Write show, Dorothy Fields, this was like, it took her this long. She'd been working since the 30s. It took her this long to get a hit.
But
Really.
it was one of her last ones, though, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it might have been her last. Yeah.
But this project was driven by Bob Fosse in a way, and he ended up trying to beg Neil Simon to write the book for this because he knew that he was the only person to do it. And eventually Neil, my old mate Neil, he caved and said, "Yeah, okay, I'll do it." And I bet he's quite happy that he did that. To be honest.
Yeah. Fair enough.
So I'm going to attempt to do a company number from the show because, as you well know, there's not a huge amount of things for guys to sing in this. We've already done a duet. When we sang I'm the bravest individual before. Heather may be doing a solo that Charity sings after this. So I thought, well, I'm going to just give my rendition to get us all in the mood for the rhythm of life.
Yeah.
Wish me luck, studio.
You got it.
Daddy started out in San Francisco, tooting on a trumpet loud and mean. Suddenly a voice said, "Go forth, Daddy, spread the picture on a wider screen." And the voice said, "Daddy, there's a million pigeons waiting to be hooked on new religions. Hit the road, Daddy, leave your common law wife. Spread the religion of the rhythm of life. And the rhythm of life is a powerful beat. Puts a tingle in your fingers and a tingle in your feet. Rhythm in your bedroom, rhythm in the street. Yes, the rhythm of life is a powerful beat. To feel the rhythm of life, to feel the powerful beat, to feel the tingle in your fingers, to feel the tingle in your feet.
To feel the
Rhythm of life, feel the heat, and I'll tell you everything I know. Yeah! God, it's just a great track. Daddy spread the gospel in Milwaukee. He took his walkie-talkie to Rocky Ridge. Blew his way to Canton, then to Scranton, till he landed under the Manhattan Bridge. Daddy was a new sensation, got himself a congregation, built up quite an operation down below. With the Pied Piper blowing while the muscatel was flowing, all the cats were going down below. Oh! Daddy was a new sensation, got himself a congregation, built up quite an operation down below. With the Pied Piper blowing while the muscatel was flowing, all the cats were going down below. Flip your wings and fly to Daddy. Flip your wings and fly to Daddy. Flip your wings and fly to Daddy. Fly, fly, fly. Take a dive and swim to Daddy. Take a dive and swim to Daddy. Take a dive and swim to Daddy. Swim, swim, swim to Daddy. Hit the floor and crawl to Daddy. Hit the floor and crawl to Daddy. Hit the floor and crawl to Daddy. Crawl, crawl, crawl. To feel the rhythm of life. To feel the powerful beat. To feel the tingle in your fingers, to feel the tingle in your feet. And the rhythm of life is a powerful beat. Puts a tingle in your fingers, tingle in your feet. Rhythm in your bedroom, rhythm in the street. It's the rhythm of life is a powerful beat. To feel the rhythm of life, to feel the powerful beat, to feel the tingle in your fingers, to feel the tingle in your feet. Daddy, we got the rhythm of life, of life, of life, of life. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Oh my gosh!
I mean, like, what a song though, right?
That was amazing. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, we've got a tip jar. That was out of control, honey.
Flip your
Seriously,
wings and fly to Daddy.
If you're feeling the rhythm of life into your pocketbooks, no, seriously, we have a donation tip jar that helps us with the cost of this show, and helps us pay our producer John Richardson, who's here with us tonight. And yeah, if that didn't move you to
Emotionally.
toss a cheeky pence towards us, I don't know what will. I think one of the things I was thinking about while you were doing it is it's just like, it's so funny with these decade shows because that's a closing number. Like if we were gonna do,
exactly.
Like that's something that we'd be like, oh, that's a great 11 o'clock. Cool, we'll put that at the end. But like it's like the fourth song.
And also like it would have been a great video if we would have had more time, like turning that into a video to do. Like it's on our to-do list because it's such a great song. I'm glad you all liked it.
That was
like
awesome.
It was a bit of a wild card for us, wasn't it? It was like, should we do the Rhythm of Life as a sort of a solo
That
with
was
backing
amazing.
vocals?
No, I'm a huge fan of that. I saw Carrie said, she's like, is it too late to request it for next week? But we're not counting any songs from this week or last week.
Yeah, there's still a couple of days. Heather will talk about this later on, but there's still a couple of days left to vote. But it's fair to say we've got our work cut out for us for next week if the current results are going to stay as they are. Anyway, honey, back to you, my love. Tell us about Gwen Verdon.
Yeah, we're going to sing Sweet Charity. For another song, Gwen Verdon played the original Charity, and I love this story. She had a song in the second act. Oh, I'm just going to talk about this. Yes, you can scan the QR code if you want to send us a tip.
Look at us, we're just having so much fun that we don't even want the money anymore.
So she has a song in the second act, and if she was tired, she would be like, I'm just not going to sing that song. Now, I don't know how often this happened, but there was a gentleman who saw the show previously and then came back to see it again, and she decided that she wasn't going to sing it the night that he came the second time. And he was not best pleased that she had cut a song from the show and said that he had paid good money. He should get the same show that other people got. And so Gwen Verdon, she did the math of how much time this song in the second act was in relation to how much the ticket price was, and she sent the guy a prorated check for just that amount, like 3 minutes of the 2-hour show. Anyway, but this is not the song that she cut. This is one that was requested for me for Request Roulette. So here we go. If they could see me now, that little gang of mine, I'm eating fancy chow and drinking fancy wine. I'd like those stumble bums to see for a fact the kind of top drawer, first-rate chums I attract. All I can say is, wowie, look at where I am. Tonight I landed, pow, right in a pot of jam. What a setup, holy cow, they'd never believe it if my friends could see me now. If they could see me now, my little dusty group, traipsing round this $1 million chicken coop, I'd hear those thrift shop cats say, brother, get her, draped on a bedspread made from 3 kinds of fur. All I can say is, wow, wait till the riff and raff see just exactly how he signed his autograph. What a build-up, holy cow, they'd never believe it if my friends could see me now. If they could see me now, alone with Mr. B, who's waiting on me like he was a maitre d'. I hear my buddy saying, crazy, what gives? Tonight she's living like the other half lives. To think that highest brow, which I must say is he, should pick the lowest brow, which there's no doubt is me. What a step up, holy cow, they'd never believe it if my friends could see me now.
Lovely, Faye, lovely.
They'd never believe it. They'd never believe it if my friends could see me now.
Yay! It's just great.
I can't remember who requested that, but I know that it was in my thing.
I had a slight bit of nerves when you suddenly did this skip thing, and I was like, oh my gosh, you gotta be all
I
right.
know, sometimes I forget how pregnant I am.
Oh, well, I mean,
There you go.
Sweet Charity. I mean,
Sweet Charity.
What an incredible show it was. I've probably seen like 3 or 4 different productions of it over the years. We even did it at Mount View at drama school in the second year. So, dun 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 dun. Yeah, doing a few. Yeah.
Fun.
That's when I used to dance, my love.
Oh, you still do.
Around the house. Yes, exactly. So moving on then,
Thanks, Donna. Thanks, Catherine.
as we discussed before, Jerry Herman had done quite well so far. He was rather popular. I mean, well, Hello Dolly was probably the biggest hit that he'd had at this point. And this was not so much a big hit for him, I think. But it was still...
It's a hit.
Well,
not as big of a hit.
Not as big as it,
yeah.
but like it's still, yeah. We're talking about Mame.
It was a good follow-up, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Before the next one, which we'll get to in a second.
And you can hear sort of like, again, echoes of the Herman style and how he liked to write these big numbers. But this particular one is another Matt Monro version. I said we'd do another version of this. And it's just beautiful.
Yeah, and the show was based on the play, or the book, Auntie Mame, that was also a play. And it was a legendary woman who basically lived life to the fullest, and she was just like, darling, the life is a banquet, and most sons of you-know-what are starving to death. Angela Lansbury played Mame. And it's just a really fun show. I was obsessed with it in high school.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for some reason I saw a production and I just loved it so much. So this is one of the most beautiful songs. This was also a request roulette for me, but
Yeah,
I
sorry.
like you singing it very much so.
Well, you say that now. Hopefully you all will as well. We'll see. Did she need a stronger hand? Did she need a lighter touch? Was I soft or was I tough? Did I give enough? Did I give too much? At the moment when she needed me, did I ever turn away? Would I be there when she called? If she walked into my life today, did she mind the lonely nights? Did she count the empty days? Was I silent? Was I cold? Was I quick to scold? Was I slow to praise? And there must have been a million things that my heart forgot to say. Would I think of one or two if she walked into my life today? Should I blame the times I pampered her, or blame the times I bossed her? What a shame I never really found the boy before I lost her. Were the years a little fast? Was her world a little free? Was there too much of a crowd, all too lush and loud, and not enough of me? ask myself my whole life long, what went wrong along the way? Would I make the same mistakes if she walked into my life today?
That is beautiful, honey.
Thank you, honey.
Oh, well done.
I'd like, because I'd never sung that song in any sort of
Had you
way before.
ever even
really,
heard it?
because I don't know Mame
Yeah.
compared to Hello Dolly and,
Yeah.
and Dear World. So
Which makes sense because it's very female heavy.
yeah.
Yeah.
They weren't exactly throwing this at me at drama school
Right.
to go, have a sing song of this, Stu.
Right. My old high school band director just commented, and he said how lovely you sound.
Thank you very much.
It made me remember that I was so obsessed with this show in high school. Those of you who know this score will find this really funny. My friend and I performed Bosom Buddies, which is basically a song about two old broads. Like when we were like 15 years old in one of the talent shows.
Did you win?
No. I don't know if anybody did, but you know what? I don't think we would have if there was a contest. We're going to stay in Mame. This song felt like I just had to sing it. Basically, what's happened, like we said, Mame is a big proponent of everybody enjoying and embracing life to the fullest. So that's within libations and smoozing and experiences and relationships and relations. And she has this very prim and proper nanny who she tells to basically go off, little bird, and go be free in the world. And this woman doesn't quite understand some of the what's the word I'm looking for? Some of the consequences of some of the actions that she engages in. And let's just say she and I have something very in common. She comes back with a bump as big as mine. And she's like, hold on, I think you left something out. So this is Gooch's song. With my rings resolutely spread, Mrs. Burnside, and my old inhibitions shed, Mrs. Burnside, I did each little thing you said, Mrs. Burnside. I lived, I altered the drape of a drop of my bodice and softened the shape of my brow. I followed directions and made some connections, but what do I do now? To think this Miss Prim would have opened a window as far as her whim would allow, and who would suppose it was so hard to close it? Oh, what do I do now? I polished and powdered and puffed myself. If life is a banquet, I stuffed myself. I had my misgivings, but went on a field trip to find out what living's about. My thanks for the training. Now I'm not complaining, but you left something out. Instead of wandering on with my lone remorse, I have come back home to complete the course. Oh, what do but still I'll defend you. As guide and instructor, would I recommend you? And how, although I was leery, I thrived on your theory that life can be a wow. You said there's nothing wrong with a harmless smooch, so I'm gonna call him Burnside Gooch. What do I do now?
That's brilliant.
What?
It's so good. The song's got some really fun lyrics in
There is,
it.
right? It's so ridiculous. It's so good in the show too. She just comes in and she's like, because she's been absent for like 45 minutes. That's great.
I didn't get to see
I have
the
the best
recent
prop.
revival that Tracy Bennett did, but I don't know if any of you guys did see it and whether it was. Apparently, it was awesome. So like, yeah, I would have liked to have actually have seen it now.
Yeah.
Yes.
It'll come around.
One
again, I
day
think,
it'll
yeah.
come down.
There's a film that stars Lucille Ball, actually.
Oh, we should watch it.
Okay.
We're gonna have a bit of time on our hands for the next month
Yep.
where we just sit and watch films together.
Yeah, too.
We're very excited about just sitting and watching films,
Feeding a baby
feeding
and
a
watching
baby
TV.
and watching TV. It's gonna be great.
Yep.
So moving on to probably the biggest show.
Yeah, I think
really.
so.
I
Yeah.
think it. There hasn't been anything else that we've sort of discovered during this section of time that just landed the way that this show did. We're talking about Kander and Ebb's biggest sort of hit, really.
Yeah.
And that's Cabaret. I mean, I've actually been to the Kit Kat Club.
That's cool.
It was an experience that I don't feel like I
I
need
feel
to
like
have.
yeah, I feel like
Again,
yeah.
it wasn't quite what you expected, to
Well,
be honest.
Cabaret is really special to me because it was the revival. Was my first show I ever saw on Broadway.
Really?
And that was quite an eyeful as well. As a 15-year-old, my mom was there and I don't think she was expecting it to be, I don't think she knew much about the show. And it was very authentic. But anyway, obviously the shock value was there, but the piece, the subject matter is wonderful. I mean,
Yeah.
when I say wonderful, I mean very challenging to watch and really pushed boundaries for the time. I didn't realize this, but it's based on a semi-autobiographical book by somebody named Christopher Isherwood, who was a gay British writer who went to Berlin to experience all of the flamboyant life that was in Berlin, and the gay scene was very prominent there, and he shared a room with a British upcoming cabaret singer who wanted to be a star, and so he wrote about his experiences, and then they turned it into this musical.
It's amazing.
They actually were going to turn it into a musical before. Sandy Wilson wanted to do it.
Yep, of The Boyfriend.
Yeah.
Right, The Boyfriend.
And wanted Julie Andrews to star in it.
Julie Andrews as Sally Bowles.
Yeah.
But I mean, when you've seen her do Victor Victoria,
True.
you know she can do it. But
Yeah.
I can't imagine someone like Julie Andrews doing that.
No. And so the producer lost the rights. Prince got the rights, and basically was like Sandy Wilson's stuff wasn't right for the thing. And
I mean, can you imagine that now? Like you know this shows that are so iconic, you can't imagine anyone else could have ever written it. Well, I feel like Cabaret is that.
Yeah.
Like you can't imagine anyone
And
else.
it pushed boundaries from the very beginning of the show. There was no overture, which is rare for the time. And when the audience took their seats, all they saw on stage was just a mirror. And so they were staring back at themselves, and then the MC came out and just started. It's just revolutionary. So we're going to sing a couple songs from this wonderful show.
But we wanted to start with, well, we could sort of like, it's one of the most prettiest little duets. And I always remember it in the show as a really lovely moment. So we thought we're going to have a go at this one because it's just great. You're all good, huh?
Yep, just making sure everything's okay? Yes. If you bought me diamonds, If you bought me pearls, if you bought me roses like some other gents might bring to other girls, it couldn't please me more than the gift I see. A pineapple for me.
Lovely low notes.
Send us those
If
pineapple
in your
emojis.
emotion you begin to sway, went to get some air or grabbed a chair to keep from fainting dead away, it couldn't please me more than to see you cling to the pineapple I bring.
I can hear Hawaiian breezes blow.
It's from California.
Even so, how am I to thank you?
Kindly let it pass.
Would you like a slice?
That might be nice, but frankly, it would give me gas.
Then we shall leave it here, not to eat, but see. A pineapple for me.
From me.
When I saw this show on Broadway, the woman who is playing Frau Schneider, who was making her Broadway debut that night at age, I think, 78 or something like that.
I mean, that's amazing,
I
isn't
mean,
it?
it gives you hope, doesn't it?
Yes, we'll get there, honey, even if we're playing two old people in Germany. Pineapple for you.
From you.
My little pineapple. I mean, it's such a lovely
So
little
sweet,
moment
I
in the
know.
show as well. And this is a little pineapple. But
Yeah.
how, like, or just the little things are enough. Yeah.
Yeah, it's lovely. It's sad what happens later, but we won't
We
spoil
won't go
that.
into that. No, let's not go into that yet.
So yeah, we're gonna do one more song. Well, I'm gonna do one more song from Cabaret. This
Yeah.
also was on my request roulette list, and I've already done maybe this time. So here we go. Let's go to the Cabaret, y'all. Woohoo! What good is sitting alone in your room? Come hear the music play. Life is a cabaret, old chum. Come to the cabaret. Put down the knitting, the book, and the broom. Time for a holiday. Life is a cabaret, old chum. Come to the cabaret. Come taste the wine. Come hear the band. Come blow your horn. Start celebrating. Right this way, your table's waiting. No use permitting some prophet of doom to wipe every smile away. Life is a cabaret, old chum. Come to the cabaret. I used to have a girlfriend known as Elsie, with whom I shared 4 sorted rooms in Chelsea. She wasn't what you'd call a blushing flower. As a matter of fact, she rented by the hour. The day she died, the neighbors came to snicker. Well, that's what comes from too much pills and liquor. But when I saw her laid out like a queen, she was the happiest corpse I'd ever seen. I think of Elsie to this very day. I remember how she turned to me and say, what good is sitting alone in your room? Come hear the music play. Life is a cabaret, old chum. Come to the cabaret. Put down the knitting, the book, and the broom. Time for a holiday. Life is a cabaret, old chum. Come to the cabaret. And as for me, I made my mind up back in Chelsea. When I go, I'm going like Elsie. Start by admitting from cradle to tomb, it isn't that long a stay. Life is a cabaret, old chum. Only a cabaret, old chum. And I love a
How are you doing that?
I don't know.
You have not practiced that song. I haven't heard you do that.
Nope.
I heard some of the others, but I haven't heard that. Guys, that was amazing. Like that was amazing. Is our baby going nuts in there?
No,
It's
chilling.
just chill.
It's
like,
used to it.
It's like, oh yeah, come on,
used to
Mom.
it.
This is great. Guys, okay, so it's my turn to be the guy that says there is a tip jar going on, whether PayPal, Venmo, or if you need to pay by card in any sort of way, debit, credit, Apple Pay, Google. If there's anything that you would like to donate, this is the time to do it for that performance alone. I mean, that's a QR code. We love scanning them here in the UK. Thanks very much for those who've already sent some stuff through. Like, honey, you are amazing.
Thank you.
Like, I just can't believe we are actually at this point in the pregnancy and you're singing that way. Like, I bet you didn't think you did it. Although Heather did say early on, she was like, oh, well, maybe we can keep these going until 2 weeks or 1 week before the baby's due. Well,
That was not ever. Now that I'm here, there's no way.
so this week and next, that's it. We can't do any more.
No.
What a life.
Thank you so much, you guys. I really appreciate it.
And what a way to close 1966 and move on to the next epic year.
Yeah. I'm going to go to the restroom.
You're gonna go to the back. You didn't pee during that?
No, I didn't, but I was close. It was close. I'll be right back. You can talk about hair.
I shall give a go and I'll have a start and a sing. So yes, 1967 now, guys, and we're moving on to hair. You obviously heard Aquarius and Let the Sunshine In combo. That was we did our version of the Fifth Dimension cover that they released, obviously in the 60s. But I love Hair. Hair was one of the first shows I performed in when I was at the Brit School. And I got to play Claude in that, and I just love it. It's so cool, but also it continues the story of I guess how musical theatre had started to become a bit more commercial through political expression, and Hair was very much that. Galt McDermott, who wrote the music, this was the first time he really kind of started to understand the hippie movement that was going on. And Jerome Ragney and James Rado, who wrote the lyrics, are the ones that influenced very heavily the political movement that the hippies were sort of embodying at that time. I mean, I just love it. Like, performing it is just like, you really learn just to free yourself up and just let yourself go of all your inhibitions and just to exist in the moment. There's other things like, you know, the sex and the drugs and all of that side of things. That wasn't what I was doing at 16 years of age when we did our production of this at Brit. But it was just like a real sense of community and feeling cool. Like, so this is just a song that Claude sings in Act 1. It's actually his sort of entrance number, really. I got life, mother. I got laugh, sister. I got freedom, brother. I got good times, man. I got crazy ways, daughter. I got $1 million charm, cousin. I got headaches and toothaches and bad times too, like you. I got my head, I got my head, I got my brains, I got my ears, I got my eyes, I got my nose, I got my mouth, I got my teeth, I got my tongue, I got my chin, I got my neck, I got my tits, I got my heart, I got my soul, I got my back, I got my ass, I got my arms, I got my hands, got my fingers, got my legs, I got my feet, I got my toes, I got my liver, I got my blood, I got life, mother, I got life, sister, I got freedom, brother, I got good times, man, I got crazy ways, daughter, I got $1 million charm, cousin, I got headaches and toothaches and bad times too, like you. I got my hair, I got my head, I got my brains, I got my ears, I got my eyes, got my nose, I got my mouth, I got my teeth, I got my tongue, I got my chin, I got my neck, I got my tits, I got my heart, I got my soul, I got my back, I got my ass. I got my arms, I got my hands, got my fingers, got my legs, I got my feet, I got my toes, I got my liver, I got my blood, I got my guts, got my muscles, I got life, 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 life.
You got a lot of nerve, Benny.
And I'm gonna spread it around the world, mother. I'm gonna spread it around the world, sister. I'm gonna spread it around the world, my brother, so everybody knows what I got. It's great, lots of words, but that was kind of what Hair was. It was a series of moments, like vignettes. There's not really a coherent storyline. There's a general theme about Claude burning his draft so he doesn't have to go and fight in the war. However, he doesn't, and he does go to fight, and then he dies. No, spoiler.
And I think, like, I don't know, I don't even know if I told you this, but they picked a lot of the cast members for the original Broadway production off the street.
I didn't realize I actually did that.
Yeah.
Because I know, like, that the London production, like, it sort of was the,
yes,
I guess, the birth of censorship being lifted.
Yep.
And especially in the theatre world, like, there hadn't been nudity on stage like this before, and so it became a huge stink, you know, like, it was a massive deal. And as a result of that, people were flocking to see it because they were like, oh my gosh, we're going to see some nude people on stage. So the show ran for nearly 2,000 performances, and it would have kept going had the ceiling of the Shaftesbury Theatre not fallen in on people. So they had to close the theatre and close the show, and then it sadly didn't transfer anywhere else. Just that was it. But the Broadway revival was fantastic.
Yeah.
With Gavin Creel and
Yes.
Casey Levy a few years
And that came over here too, right? Didn't it?
Yeah, like that. We're talking about like 2010, I think it came here.
Yeah.
There you go. Look at that.
Very cool. Amazing. So also another show that happened in 1960. What year are we? Seven.
Now, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Was one called Hallelujah Baby, and it was written by Julie Stein, music and lyrics by Comden and Green. Pardon me. And a book by Arthur Lawrence. And it was originally written for Lena Horne to play the lead in it, but she had to back out. And in the show was about the civil rights movement. It was about the experience of a black woman trying to make it in show business for the first 6 decades of the 1900s. And by Arthur Lawrence admission, the show was not... it was very clear that it was written by 3 middle-aged white people, basically.
Yeah.
But it did star a young Leslie Uggams, and it was a fantastic feature for her, and she sang this beautiful song, which I just discovered from researching this show. And this is, it's stunning. I think I'm going to keep this song for a long time. It's really, really beautiful. So this is called Being Good Isn't Good Enough.
Being good isn't good enough. Being good won't be good enough. When I fly, I must fly extra high, and I'll need special wings so far to go from so far below. Should I try? Am I strong enough? Is there time? Have I long enough? Gonna fly, and if I fall, that's the way it's gotta be. There's no other way for me. Being good just won't be good enough. I'll be the best or nothing at all. Shall I try? Am I strong enough? Is there time? Have I long enough? Gonna fly, and if I fall, that's the way it's gotta be. There's no other way for me. Being good just won't be good enough. I'll be the best or nothing at all.
I mean, that is an epic song.
It's
I mean,
stunning. It's
you sound
stunning.
fantastic.
Thank you. Hi, Robbie.
Because I hadn't heard it either.
It's such a beautiful, beautiful song. Yeah, I'm
like-
going to keep that one.
Yes, you should. And you should sing it
Thank
forever.
Thank you, everybody.
Like, great. So that brings 1967 to a close. Only 2 more years left of this decade, and it's been a ride this decade, hasn't it? I
Yeah.
think if you actually listen to our part 1 and then our part 2, to hear the change in styles and the political landscape musically is I'm
trying to think of where we
remarkable.
started. We started with like how to succeed in business without really trying, but also like, oh, baby's kicking.
Oh, I mean, I can tell you where we started last time. Put on a happy face.
Oh yeah,
with
Bye Bye Birdie.
So when you think how far we've come from Bye Bye Birdie all the way to here, with to 1968 with this next particular song, I kind of feel like Broadway had been pushing boundaries, and then this particular show came along to kind of be the all-American musical.
Well,
again.
it was about the story of like the Broadway's guy, George M. Cohen, and thank you so much, Amy. And it's not. I can't remember who I said. I think it was William Goldman was quoted as saying, "Everybody knew it wasn't very good." The show, but so all the Americana songs that were really popular in the early 1900s. You got an infusion of this on Broadway, starring Joel Grey and Bernadette Peters.
Yeah, this was like, I think the year before she had opened in a play, and it lasted one night, and that was her Broadway debut. So
this is more of a Broadway.
This was
debut,
more like what put her on the map a bit more, like I mean, Bernadette Peters.
Yeah.
Look at her now, huh?
So this is some good old give my regards to Broadway. You can sing along at home. These verses are actually quite difficult.
Yes,
we didn't know they existed.
Because we only know that. Give my regards to Broadway. So like, bear with us for this one. But I feel like this section of our evening is just all about having fun together. Yes. So let's get going. Did you ever see two Yankees part upon a foreign shore, when the good ship's just about to start for old New York once more? With a tear-dimmed eye they say goodbye, they're friends without a doubt. When the man on the pier shouts, "Let me clear," as the ship strikes out. Everybody, give my regards to Broadway. Remember me to Herald Square. Tell all the gang at 42nd Street that I will soon be there. Whisper of how I'm yearning to mingle with the old-time throng. Give my regards to old Broadway and say that I'll be there ere long. Say hello to dear old Coney Island, if there you chance to be. When you're out the Waldorf, have a smile and charge it up to me. Mention my name every place you go, as round the town you roll. Wish you'd call on my gal, remember, oh pal, when you get back home. And give my regards to Broadway, remember me to Herald Square. Tell all the gang at 42nd Street that I will soon be there. Whisper of how I'm yearning to mingle with the old-time throng. Give my regards to old Broadway and say that I'll be there ere long.
There you go. A marching band.
Now, a slight bit of trivia. I think my dad, played George M.
Really?
In an amateur production of George M. Coat. Am I right, Dad? Like, get Mom to comment or something.
Thanks,
but I feel like Dad played George M.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's a story that we will hear over and over. But also, and that was with the South Down Musical Society here in Portsmouth.
Amazing.
Yes, and also while I'm on that, I just want to say a happy birthday to somebody who was in South Down Musical Society, who directed me in Godspell. So happy birthday to Sarah Harkness.
Happy birthday!
Dad played his father.
Perfect.
George M's father. Well, still. Papa George. There you go. Thanks, Dad. Happy birthday, Sarah.
Yes.
During this next song, you can write Happy Birthday, Sarah. It's Sarah. Oh, there she is.
There she is.
Sarah, S-A-R-A. There you go. So say Happy Birthday to Sarah. We should probably talk about why this is in here.
All right. Some of you guys, purists, might be realize how cheeky we're being with this next show. We're going to move on to Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat.
Yeah!
Which was written in 1968.
Exactly.
It didn't have its professional debut until 1971, but it was written in 1968, and the full 15-minute production was performed.
And we're going to do it all now. No, we're not. We're not doing it for 15 minutes.
I would love that. I would love it. So Joseph. Yes, Andrew Lloyd Webber and Tim Rice were approached by a friend of theirs who was the headmaster at a school in London, and said, "Hey, can you write us a pop? What was it called? Like a pop cantata?"
Yeah.
And they came up with Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, and the original version is recorded.
Yes, and Tim Rice actually played the Pharaoh on recording.
Sure did. By 1971, when it had its professional premiere at Edinburgh, did I say that right, by the way? I'm always so nervous.
Edinburgh.
Edinburgh.
Yeah, it's not borough. I mean, I know some people might say borough. I just say
so
Edinburgh.
Nervous.
Sorry.
Anyway, so by the time it was there, it was 35 minutes long. Now, Joseph is great. I love Joseph.
Well, I mean, the fun part now is they have a mega mix that is also 35 minutes long, I think, now.
I think they put it in probably because the show's so short. They're like, we got to
Exactly.
give people their money's worth.
Just when you've watched it all, you now just see a condensed version.
They're like,
I love it.
Yeah, it's so great.
But I guess the reason we wanted to sort of put it in is because it was the sort of the birth of Andrew Lloyd Webber and Tim Rice and their relationship. So I think to kind of, when we're looking at the musical landscape and how pop was starting to influence because of, we're going to talk about Burt Bacharach in a minute as well. But when you talk about the influences all the way back from Bye Bye Birdie all the way through to now with pop culture, rock and roll starting to come through. I mean, Hair sort of brought a lot of that sort of pop rock sound going on. It's very interesting to see that at that particular time, Andrew Lloyd Webber was thinking of this kind of style of music.
But also, they took pieces of every single style of music in this. So it's like they had
it's great. I mean, it's great
country,
for kids,
they had Elvis, they had reggae, they had, all of this. There's all totally like different, and put it all together in this fun
cocktail of fun. And that's probably why it ends up being timeless.
Yeah, totally.
Because regardless of whether you're religious and believe everything to do with this particular story, it's just great fun, and there's some great lessons to learn in it as well.
Well, we're gonna sing about the main feature of the show, the coat. We're gonna play a bunch of people.
We're gonna do this.
We're gonna play a bunch of different characters, but we're gonna end up reciting a lot of colors. So just go ahead and start listing all the colors now, and John Richardson will put them up on the screen. Like, I would just start now because there's so many of them.
So many colors.
So here we go. Here's the story of Joseph's coat, kids.
I can imagine everyone's at home is just like leapt up with joy. Look, John Richardson loves Joseph.
So fun!
Joseph's mother, she was quite my favourite wife. I never really loved another all of my life. And Joseph was my joy, cause he reminded me of her.
Through young Joseph, Jacob lived his youth again, loved him, praised him, gave him all he could, but then it made the rest feel second best. And even if they were
Being told we're also rans does not make us Joseph fans.
But where they have really missed the boat is
We're great guys, but no one seems to notice.
Joseph's charm and winning smiles failed to slay them in the aisles, and their father couldn't see the danger. He could not imagine any danger. He just saw in Joseph all his dreams come true. Jacob wanted to show the world he loved his son, to make it clear that Joseph was the special one. So Jacob bought his son a coat, a multicolored coat to wear.
Joseph's coat was elegant, the cut was fine, the tasteful style was the ultimate in good design. And this is why it caught the eye. A king would stop and stare.
And when Joseph tried it on, he knew his sheepskin days were gone. Such a dazzling coat of many colors, how he loved his coat of many colors.
In a class above the rest, it even went well with my vest.
Such a stunning coat of many colors, how he loved his coat of many colors. It was red and yellow and green and brown and
blue. Key change?
Ooh, good. Joseph's brothers weren't so pleased with what they saw.
We have never liked him all that much before, and now this coat has caught our goat. We feel life is unfair.
And when Joseph graced the scene, his brothers turned a shade of green. His astounding clothing took the biscuit.
Quite the smoothest person in the district. I look handsome, I look smart. I am a walking work of art. Such a dazzling coat of many colors. How I love my coat of many colors. It was red
and yellow and green and brown and
scarlet
scarlet and
black
and
ochre,
peach and ruby and olive and violet and fawn.
I
and
look
black
handsome,
and
I
gold
look
and
smart.
chocolate and
I am a walking work of art. Such a dazzling coat of many colors. How I love my coat of many colors. It was red and yellow and green and brown and scarlet and black and ochre and peach and ruby and olive and violet and fawn and lilac and gold and chocolate and mauve and cream and crimson and silver and rose and azure and lemon and russet and grey and purple and white and pink and orange and blue. Blue. It feels like no one ever knows the colours, and they're like, la la na na blue.
I just think it's funny because you have like the children's choir that's going, ah! And they never have to remember it.
They never have to remember the colour.
That's what I would want.
Yes, Mum's saying such memories.
Oh.
For those who've been watching since day one, you may have noticed at some point we put a picture of me as Joseph
David
up.
Mayako, that's very impressive. David Mayako, y'all. He has a show tonight at 6:30. I will be running that show on Virtual Piano Bar, so check him out. Anyway, yes, Stu has played Joseph.
Yes, I have played Joseph. The first part that I ever really played, I did like the Pirate King in Pirates of Penzance, but it was like a condensed version. But Joseph was the first full musical that I ever did with Hailing Island. It was Hailing Island Operatic Society that then became Hailing Island Junior Operatic Society and is now Hailing Musical Society. It's evolved, people. It's evolved with the times.
Amazing.
So, but like, if you're okay, I need to pop to the bathroom.
Yeah, that's
okay. Sorry, guys. It's my turn. I'm getting old now.
It is contagious. And we're just being really good about our water consumption in the house. I guess so. I'll talk to you guys about now what we have coming up in the next week. We only have one more, like we said, one more show before the baby. Because, listen, after singing and standing for 2 hours, my ankles are quite swollen and I'm just real tired. And so we are going to take a hiatus, but we are planning on coming back in the not so distant future. But for our last show next week, we are letting you guys all choose the set list. You can vote on what songs you would like us to perform. We have performed over 400 songs over the last 6 months, which is insane. And we've created a survey. The link is in the description of this of this broadcast. It also is in the email, if you got the email that we sent out today, and we'll post about it tomorrow again. So you can still vote all the way up until Wednesday, and we might be sending out another little survey to figure out which of your favorite of the produced videos that we've done you would like to see again. And yeah, so thank you so much for those of you some of you have been watching from the very beginning, and we're so appreciative to all of you. This has been really special for us, and it's just been, we feel like we have a community. We can't wait till we get to meet so many of you in person, really. And it's just been a huge blessing for us. So thank you. Hi, are you back?
Uh-huh.
You got us, babe. You got him.
Oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, Elvis Presley.
It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever watched. Things I do for tips. Right.
Yeah, let's get that tip jar scrolling. This outfit was not cheap.
Oh, everybody ready? I want to tell you a little bit of a story. What? Something in my teeth? Well, I was wandering along about the banks of a river when the 7 fat cows came out of the Nile. Oh yeah. And right behind these fine, healthy animals came 7 other cows that were skinny and vile. Then the thin case out the fat cows, which I thought would do them good. Oh, girl. But it didn't make them fat like such a monster supper should. The thin cows are as thin as they had ever been. Well, this dream has got me baffled. Hey, Joseph, tell me what it means. You know that kings ain't stupid. But I don't have a clue. So don't be cruel, Joseph. Help me now, I beg of you. Well, I was standing doing nothing in a field out of town when I saw 7 beautiful ears of corn. They were ripe, they were golden, but you guessed it, right behind them there were 7 other ears that were tattered and torn. Oh, baby. Well, then the bad corn ate the good corn, and they came up from behind. Yes, they did. Oh, no. But Joseph, here's the punchline. It's really gonna blow your mind, baby. Flip your lid, kid. The bad corn was as bad as it had ever been. Well, this dream has got me all shook up. Jimmy Nelson, tell me what it means. Hey, Joseph, won't you tell poor Pharaoh, what does this crazy dream mean? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, that's good, huh? What do you think, Joe? Good?
Yeah, I heard about the cows, but I'm not quite too sure about that. What does he say there?
I don't know, something about cows and corn.
Yeah.
Hey, Joseph, won't you tap on Pharaoh? What does this crazy dream mean? Whoa, yeah. Yeah, I pulled the headphones out then, so I couldn't actually hear the button. Did it land on the right time?
Yeah, that was really well done.
Genius. There we go.
Smashed it, babe. Well, that's my husband, Stuart Matthew Elvis. Stuart, that's
This is what I would have
Wow.
looked like with hair.
wow. I think
Stringy,
we'll keep-
vile hair.
Yeah.
So there you go. What's that? What have you done there?
Sorry. Ladies and gentlemen, if you'd like to tip Elvis, you can do so with the information scrolling below. Venmo, PayPal, credit card, QR code, which is for the credit card. Y'all, that was
Okay.
wonderful.
Well, do you want to talk about this show
I
while I
do.
just go put some normal clothes
Yeah,
on?
that sounds good.
Well, thank you very much.
I mean, let's just be honest. Earlier this week when we were setting the set list, like Monday, he was like, I have to sing the song and I have to order this outfit. And I was like, okay, honey. And it got here like yesterday. Thankfully it fit. Anyway, so we're going to keep going. And we're going to move on to Promises, which had music written by Burt Bacharach, lyrics by Hal David. And this was just a sweet show that had a recent revival that Stu, actually, you were at the
So
premiere.
sorry I'm late. I mean,
Funny, babe. There was somebody here.
Yeah, there was some
It's so
weird. I passed some weird
Did you
guy
leave
in the
the
hall.
door open or something?
Oh, yeah. Amazon delivery man. He's crazy.
He was quite dressed
Sorry.
up. Anyway.
What did I miss?
Promises. We were talking about how
great.
you went to the press night.
I
in New
did.
York.
In
Yeah.
fact, 2010.
Yeah.
This first night, I'd gone over there to start recording my album.
Yeah.
And I was flying to LA the next day.
Okay.
And I went I got tickets to the press night because my friend Helen Anker was in the original cast. And I remember being like sat down and like I was on the aisle seat, and then 2 rows down on the right, Hugh Jackman was there,
That's
sat watching
cool.
it. And then that night I met Stephen Schwartz, I met Burt Bacharach, which was pretty awesome.
Cool.
Sorry, I'm just like, let me just pick those names up that I dropped.
I'm a huge fan of Burt Bacharach in general. What I didn't realize is that this song we're going to sing was written for the musical. I thought it was just a Dionne Warwick hit, which it was eventually. But they wrote this for a moment in the second act. They felt like it was missing a song. And Burt Bacharach actually was in the hospital with pneumonia. And Hal David was like, okay, I'll write the lyric first, and then Burt, you can write the music when you get out of the hospital. And actually, Burt, being in the hospital, inspired lyrics for this song. The what do you get when you
kiss
a girl?
You get enough germs to catch pneumonia.
That was because Burt Bacharach was in the hospital with that. And then Burt, my buddy, said that when he wrote this song, he's never written a melody so quickly. So we're going to sing a little I'll Never Fall in Love Again for you guys.
I'm exhausted.
Take a break. What do you get when you fall in love? A guy with a pin to burst your bubble. That's what you get for all your trouble. I'll never fall in love again. I'll never fall in love again. What do you get when you kiss a guy? You get enough germs to catch pneumonia. After you do, he'll never phone you. Never fall in love again. I'll never fall in love again. Don't tell me what it's all about, 'cause I've been there and I'm glad I'm out of those chains that bind you. That is why I'm here to remind you, what do you get when you fall in love? You only get lies and pain and sorrow. So for at least until tomorrow, I'll never fall in love again. I'll never fall in love again.
What do you give when you give your heart? You get it all broken up and battered. That's what you get, a heart that's shattered. I'll never fall in love again. fall in love again. Don't tell me what it's all about, 'cause I've been there and I'm glad I'm out of those chains that bind you.
That's why I'm here to remind you.
What do you get when you fall in love? You only get lies and pain and sorrow. So far at least until tomorrow, I'll never fall in love again. I'll never fall in love again. I'll never fall in love again.
So
It's
sweet.
great, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I love that guitar arrangement of it compared to like
Me
a
too.
piano and
Yep.
full band thing. It's just so beautiful.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous
Oh.
arrangement.
Oh, lovely.
Ah.
Well, that brought 1968 to a close for us, and now we're hitting our final year of the decade, 1969. And we wanted to start off with another Jerry Herman show. And at this point, this particular musical meant that Jerry Herman had 3 shows on Broadway simultaneously. The first to ever do it.
Yeah, right. Composer of the year to ever have that, which is so crazy.
It's great. I think Lloyd Webber has
I think
since done it.
It would make sense that, yeah.
But yeah, this time is great. And I'm talking about his musical Dear World, which was not very well received. The critics thought the book was terrible. There wasn't the story was all over the place. You didn't know what was going on, and they didn't actually appreciate Jerry's music and lyrics as much as or his other works at this date. Now, I actually think like this was quite a political driven piece, and I was fortunate enough to be in the original London production. I think 2013. I'm gonna say we did it. I'm gonna go with that. 2013. I can't remember, but I think that's when we did it at the Charing Cross Theatre. We had the wonderful Tony Award-winning Betty Buckley playing the role of Aurelia, which was originated by Angela Lansbury on Broadway. And in fact, it's such a quirky character and such a beautiful...
Yeah.
Betty Buckley, who's Stuart, at the London Star Promises. Oh, yes, and she was she was in Promises.
That's right.
In the London production.
We totally knew that, and we just forgot to say it. Thank you.
We've got a bit of a Betty Buckley theme going on for this particular year.
The voice of Broadway. This is when it started. Yeah.
But Dear World, for me, it was such a beautiful piece, a series of sort of like vignettes woven together with a loose story. Because when we needed to adapt the book because it needed work, but there was only so much we could do on the production, so we did as much as we could and made more sense of it, but it still needed more work. It kind of essentially needs a brand new book writer to come on board, but that's not going to happen due to the estate rules. But for me, Jerry Herman wrote a piece that was very much ahead of its time. It still had that Jerry Herman sound, but it seemed to have a different layer of complexity to it. And I wanted to sing something from Dear World because there wasn't much for guys to do. It was very much a female-heavy show for their leading lady. And this particular song, I used to sit there next to Betty as she was doing it, and it was just beautiful. She just accessed so much emotion in every single thing she sang. Every night opposite that wonderful lady was a masterclass in musical theatre performance. So although I cannot do it the same justice that Betty did, or even Lady Lansbury would have done, I'm at least going to sing this beautiful 1.5 minute moment that happens in the show. This is called I Don't Want to Know. If music is no longer lovely, if laughter is no longer lilting, if lovers are no longer loving, then I don't want to know. If summer is no longer carefree, if children are no longer singing, if people are no longer happy, then I don't want to know. Let me hide every truth from my eyes with the back of my hand. Let me live in a world full of lies with my head in the sand. For my memories all are exciting, my memories all are enchanted, my memories burn in my head with a steady glow. So if, my friends, if love is dead, I don't want to know.
So pretty.
So I just loved it. Like, it's just, I just think the lyrics are really beautiful and poignant. Let me hide every truth from my eyes with the back of my hand. Let me live in a world full of lies with my head in the sand. So if everything's got to change and everything's got to move on, and at the sacrifice, like, because it's essentially about corporate greed and digging for oil in order to make more money for corporations. And this particular character, the mad woman of Chaillot, essentially is saying, if that's the way the world's got to go, I don't want to know about it. I'd prefer to live in the lies. I'd prefer to live in the beauty and the romance of being alive. And it was just a beautiful, beautiful show.
I think also, like, Jerry Herman doesn't get necessarily, his lyrics don't always get as much credit as his, like, how epic his music is, but like, it's stunning. He's a
Really
brilliant lyricist.
So if you haven't heard Dear World, I think it's on Spotify for sure. It may be on Apple Music as well, but have a listen because there's some great songs in there. And Angela Lansbury is just funny. She's just funny.
I love it.
Anyway.
Well, we're going to go to the last show of 1969 that we're going to focus on today. This is 1776, which was an odd one because it's more like a play with music than it is a traditional musical. Sherman Edwards wrote the music and lyrics. He was a pop writer, and he spent a really long time crafting it, and it is still really well received across well, at least in the States, definitely. It's really well respected.
Well, it's about the
signing of the Declaration of Independence, and it took the New York by storm. There have been a couple of revivals. There's going to be one actually coming up in 2021 or this year.
This year?
I don't know if it's still happening, but
it was meant to. An all-female version.
I think so. That's
pretty awesome.
Because in the show there's only 2 women. So I'm going to sing the song that Martha Jefferson sings about her husband and how he plays the violin and how he wooed her,
which was originated by Betty Buckley.
Betty Buckley.
Told you it was a Betty show.
We love her. Here we go. There's a long little break at the beginning of this track.
I do love this show, though.
Yeah, I saw it when I was in high school. It's amazing. I need to research it.
Oh, yes.
He never speaks his passions. He never speaks his views. Whereas other men speak volumes, the man I love is mute. In truth, I can't recall being wooed with words at all. Even now. But he plays the violin. He tucks it right under his chin, and he bows. Oh, he bows, for he knows, yes, he knows, that it's high, 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 little, twixt my heart, Tom and his fiddle, my strings are unstrung. High, 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 I am undone. I hear his violin, and I get that feeling within, and I sigh, oh I sigh, he draws near, very near, and it's high, 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 little, and goodbye to the fiddle, my strings are unstrung. High, 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 I am unstrung. Now this is the part in the show where the violinist has this incredible violin solo. So I figured it would be a good time to talk about the story of Betty Buckley getting this part. So she studied at, I think, Texas Christian University in Texas. She was from Texas. Apparently when she first read this song, she thought it was, and he bows, he bows, he bows. But that's another story. Anyway, Betty Buckley was heard by an agent in New York City who was like, you have to come to New York City. You have to come. I want to represent you. You're going to be a star. She was like, I don't know. Finally, she got on a train, decided to come to New York. She called the agent as soon as she got there, and he goes, you have an audition in 15 minutes, so get your music, head uptown, go to the audition, and you need to go and you need to sing for these people. And she did. She was the last person they saw that day, and she ended up getting the job. I love stories like that. I haven't missed it. Don't worry. I know you're really worried.
I'm absolutely panicking.
There's a soft spot. Oh no, I did miss it. Wait, we're gonna go back because I did miss it. Sorry. Anyway, the story's too good. I had to finish it.
I get it.
It's coming.
It's got to be after this bit, right?
I actually don't think I missed it. There's a key change, yeah. When heaven calls to me, sing me a sad elegy. Say I died, loving bride, loving wife, loving life. For it's high, 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 little, big my heart, Tom and his fiddle, and ever will be. High, 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 through eternity. He plays the violin.
Yeah, so it
We
was
got
worth
there.
it. Was worth
It was worth it, but I do think actually I was in time because the key change hadn't happened yet. It had?
It had.
Okay. Well, anyway, there you go, guys. We do these shows in a week. What can I say?
Amazing. No, still amazing. Still amazing. Now, I used to listen to this show a lot because I loved it. And there was there's not a great deal of duets in this show, but I thought, if we're gonna do something from it, let's just do the one that exists. It's called Yours, Yours, Yours.
The only other song really the only other female role to Abigail Adams.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful song.
It is very lovely. Well, let's just have a go at this one.
Okay. I live like a nun in a cloister, solitary celibate, I hate it.
I live like a monk in an abbey, ditto, I hate it.
Write to me with sentimental effusion. Let me revel in romantic illusion.
vanilla and spring air, and is my favorite lover's pillow still firm and fair?
What was there, John? Still is there, John? Come soon as you can to my cloister. I've forgotten the feel of your hand.
Soon, madam, we shall walk in Cupid's grove together, and I'll fondly survey that promised land. Till then, I am as I ever was and ever shall be. Yours, 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 yours. It's lovely.
Just lovely.
Yeah.
Stunning. I mean, if you think if the guy was a pop
songwriter, yeah.
songwriter, yeah. And there's so many other great songs from that show: Molasses and Rum, Mama Look Sharp.
Yeah.
Like,
Mama Looks Sharp is a great
so
song.
stunning.
Just seemed to be a little bit too depressing to do
yeah,
in a show.
yeah, fair enough,
like
fair
this.
enough.
Thank you, Moira.
Thank you, Moira. Oh, well, you guys, we only have one more song for you tonight. Before we go and we revisit all of the songs you guys have voted on for next week.
Yes, I mean, literally, if the current standing remains, we've had like over 160 votes. So thank you to everyone who has literally painstakingly gone through and selected which songs. The set list is quite ridiculous.
We haven't decided if we're going to reveal what the results
No.
are or not. Stu doesn't think we
I
should.
don't
I
think
think
so.
we should give you guys a little bit of a clue, but like, we'll decide that later.
I think you just sit there and
well,
you just take every
Do
song we give
do you guys want to know? That's the question. Put in the comments below whether or not you'd want to know what's coming for next week. Anyway, so thank you so much to all of you who have been here tonight. And we really just appreciate all of you, like I was saying before. And we hope that you have had a nice time as we finish out the decades. We think we're probably going to continue with the decades when we come back. Because there's a lot of good stuff coming up in the 70s and 80s and 90s. Come on.
Yeah, like like I sort of saying to Heather within the week that a lot of the songs up to this point for guys have always been quite low. I've and as you probably can tell, I like to sit a little bit higher in my voice. So I'm very much looking forward to the 70s, 80s, and 90s.
I can't wait to hear you on this stuff. Like, oh, it's gonna be awesome.
It's gonna be fun. See, Mom wants a surprise.
Okay, fine. Everybody wants. Yes. The link. The link is, Alec, it's in the description of the broadcast.
Yes,
There's
of
a
our
link
broadcast up with the screen with this thing.
Uh-huh.
I'm really looking forward to next week, if I'm honest. Like, I don't know how we're gonna survive because every song so far is a massive song.
I don't know. Yeah, I
So
don't know.
I'm like, but that's showbiz, huh?
Yeah.
So guys, thank you very much for being with us today and going through and completing the 60s with us. We've had a lovely time putting this together. A lot of new stuff for us and a lot of interesting things that we've learnt along the way. We hope you've enjoyed it. Huge shout out to John Richardson and everyone at Virtual Piano Bar for hosting us this evening. Thank you very much for that. Thanks to all of you who have tipped tonight. We know it's the end of the month, so we appreciate that it may not have been payday yet or anything. So thank you very much for doing
really
that.
Appreciate it.
And yeah, let's
we're gonna close out with a song from a show we haven't sung yet. It's from but during this block of time, a song that just kind of it's a nice message about finding happiness in simplicity. This is from your good man Charlie Brown, and it's called very appropriately Happiness.
Happiness is finding a pencil,
Pizza with sausage.
telling the time.
Happiness is learning to whistle.
Tying your shoe for the very first time.
Happiness is playing the drum in your own school band.
And happiness is walking hand in hand. Happiness is 2 kinds of ice cream,
Knowing a secret.
climbing a tree.
Happiness is 5 different crayons.
Catching a firefly, setting him free.
Happiness is being alone every now and then.
And happiness is coming home again.
Happiness is morning and evening.
Daytime and nighttime too.
For happiness is
anyone and anything at all that's loved by you. Happiness is having a sister,
sharing a sandwich,
getting along. Happiness is singing together when day is through. And happiness is those who sing with you.
Happiness is those who sing with
Happiness is morning and evening, daytime and nighttime too. For happiness is anyone and anything at all that's loved by you.
You're a good man, Charlie Brown / Stuart Matthew Price.
Good night, everyone. Have a fantastic week, and we'll see you for our final show next Sunday night.
Mwah!
Take care,
Love
everyone.